powers. How? Well, let me give you an example. I want you to think for a moment of a pink elephant. Okay. Now, what did you think when I asked that question? You know, obviously, I told you to think of a pink elephant. What popped into your head was pink elephant. So when you ask the type of questions that I mentioned before, like, why am I broke? Or why does my life stink so much today? You're basically sticking your head into negative, no-win, unhealthy, lower vibration energy. And the universe will only answer you back with all the reasons why you're broke or why you're stuck. It will say to you, hey, here you go, Stephanie, or here you go, Don. I will keep showing you all the reasons why your life stinks today and why you have so many bills. So you're probably thinking, why in the heck would the universe torture me like that? Well, it's because you asked. You asked for all the reasons why, and the universe loved you so much, it responded to your request and it showed you. So my tip for the day is to ask a lofty question. What's a lofty question, you're probably thinking? Well, a lofty question is a question that skyrockets you, it lifts you, and it skyrockets the universe into positively manifesting your dream. It's an action-oriented question. Ponder this type of question for a minute. Why do I have more money than I need? Or why do I have more than enough money to pay my bills, save money, and have some left over to have some fun with? That's a cool question. Can you see what would happen to your focus? If you're thinking of ideas that generate more money, then you need abundance and more than enough, and that kind of energy is what's going to fall in your lap. You see, the universe loves you so much, it will support you and answer your questions. Ask and it is given. So try asking some lofty questions today and see what type of things you start to focus on. Try this lofty question on for size. Why is my life so amazing? It exceeds all my expectations. Or how about this lofty question? What's the $1 million idea that I can manifest into my life today? Or how about this lofty question? How can the universe give me more than enough help than I ever thought possible? Or how about this one? What kind of person can I become that will amaze the world? Okay, that's my tip for the day. Have some fun. Share your lofty questions and what happened for you on this website. And let us know what happened. Many blessings to you, and thanks for sharing in this community.
Thank you, Christy. So that was the power of asking the right questions, lofty questions, according to Christy Marie Sheldon. And now, we'll go on to a very different technique. Now, if you'll notice, the first three techniques we have shared with you are all about reaching further in life, having more wealth, having more impact, simply doing more, moving towards your goals. But what about those situations where you might be in a bit of a mess? Let's say things go wrong. You know, this is a technique that you're going to learn right now that actually helps you take your energy and shift it away from the stuff in life that seems to be going wrong right now, so that you can heal those situations faster and make positive progress towards the future. It's called the energy redirection technique, and it comes from Bert Goldman. Bert is the author of Quantum Jumping. Quantum Jumping is one of our most popular courses on the Mind Valley Academy. Bert is in his 80s, and he's best known for, even though being 85, picking up all manner of skills from photography to painting to playing the piano well into his 80s through this process he calls quantum jumping, which he says allows him to tap into skills, knowledge, and abilities that most people believe they have no access to. So Bert, when he was approaching 80, made it into the Oklahoma Photography Hall of Fame under his pen name. His artwork is mind-blowing. His house, which I've visited in just in the outskirts of LA, filled with artwork, and it's all because of Bert's ability to learn new skills really rapidly. Now, Bert was also the #1 instructor for the Silver Method when he worked for that organization, and he would train thousands of people all across the world on unleashing the power of their mind. Bert has several books out. One of his books, The Silver Mind Control Method of Mental Dynamic, actually made it to the top 100 list of best personal growth books by Brian Johnson, the creator of Philosopher's Notes. So Bert is a wonderful teacher. Now, Bert was unable to get us a video in time due to certain circumstances, but what I'm going to do is, on behalf of Bert, train you on one of his techniques called energy redirection. I use this really often because it's such a beautiful technique, and it's something that we need to teach our kids, our loved ones, because it makes such a profound impact on your life. So basically, Bert shares the story of this technique in his book, and it starts really with a dented fender. What happened was Bert was leaving one of his classes with a group of students. Now, this was decades ago. And as he approached his car to give some of the students a ride home, he was that kind of guy. He would really spend a lot of time bonding with the people who would come to his lessons. He noticed that someone had hit his car, left a dented fender, and driven off. No, nothing. Now, as Bert got into the car with his students to drop them home, the car was still functioning, of course. He felt slightly agitated, but he knew that this negative feeling wouldn't really be the optimal state of being. So how do you overcome this negative feeling? Well, Bert, in the story, goes on to say that what he did was he used that dented fender as a way to redirect his energy from the frustration anyone would normally feel from having their fender dented into a positive state of mind that would ultimately shift his reality to a solution. So here's how energy redirection works. When something goes wrong, you basically have a number of options. You could complain about it. The problem is, when you complain, you become a giant, living, breathing crap magnet. That's a quote of mine. Please share it on Twitter, because it's true. When you complain, you become a giant, living, breathing crap magnet. See, if we believe that what we direct our thoughts to will expand, then when you are aggravated about something or frustrated about something, you're attracting more crap into your life. Bert knew this. He knew he could not be frustrated about his fender. So what is the solution then? Well, it's energy redirection. Bert drove his car with his students in it to a mechanic shop. He wanted to teach his students a powerful lesson. He asked the mechanic, what will it cost to fix this? The mechanic said, $300. Bert got back in the car and said, not a problem. And what he told his students is, he said, look, I just realized I have to fork out $300 to pay for this fender. Now, this was several decades ago. It was probably probably about several thousand in damage in today's money. But Bert said, I'm not going to fret. All I'm going to do is figure out how I can make an extra $300 a week. That's it. Now, he shifted his mind from focusing on the frustration of the dented fender to asking himself a beautiful question. What can I do to make an extra $300 a week? Well, as it turned out, what he ended up coming up with was just a little shift to his event flyer, just a tiny little design shift, which caused response to go up. That increasing response made him $300 that next week. But guess what? That increasing response, because he could replicate it, continued making him $300 every other week. That dented fender put hundreds of, probably thousands of dollars into Bert's pocket because of energy redirection. Every bit of crap that happens to you, you're faced with a choice. You can choose to complain and become a giant living, breathing crap magnet, or you can use it as a pivot, as a lever, to get you focusing on a new vision that will make that problem obsolete. Bert's solution? Find a way to make an extra $300 a week. And see, it all came from a dented fender. So energy redirection is simple. When something bad happens in your life, don't focus on the badness. Focus on changing your thought, your directed thought, to a new vision, a new solution to help push away the negative aspect of what happened. Here's how you can use it. Let's say, for example, you are ill and you're stuck in hospital. Well, this happened to a friend of mine, Chad Moretta. He was in an accident. He was bedridden and stuck in hospital. He decided to use that opportunity to learn about iPhone apps. The iPhone had come out at that point. Chad went on to build an app, make money, and he went on to build and own hundreds of apps. He went on to write the book App Empire, and he became a millionaire from building apps for iPhone, all because he was bedridden and stuck in hospital. Let's say you just went through a breakup, okay? Some guy or girl treated you badly and dumped you. You're feeling awful. Well, applying energy redirection, you would, rather than focus on the breakup, focus instead on what is it that you truly want in a mate? What are the qualities that you want now that you're free? So you start making a list of the ideal qualities you want to see in your next love. You focus on becoming such an amazing guy or girl so that you would never go through that thing again. Or let's say you are laid off or demoted. This happened to me once. I got demoted at work. I decided to apply this technique to, rather than, whine about my boss or the circumstances of my company, figure out how I could earn my original income by doing some work on the side. That work that I did on the side ended up becoming the company that today is Mindvalley. Being demoted was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Let's say you've lost a business due to bankruptcy. Well, figure out what new business can you build so that you can make that money back, but also be in a right field right now, a new field where you have less likelihood of your business going sour. See, no matter what crap can happen to you, by shifting your energy to create a vision or a challenge inspired by that crap, you basically have your mind focusing on something positive. And since what you give thought to will expand in your universe, you will often find that that positive thing that you're focused on will come into play. The crap that happened disappears. Buckminster Fuller said it best. When faced with an intractable problem, rather than focus on the problem, focus on a new vision, a new model that renders the problem obsolete. Energy redirection works like a charm. So, let's now go on to our final technique. This is one of my favorite techniques, and Laura Silva is going to be sharing her wisdom with us. This technique is called the Mirror of the Mind, and it's by Laura Silva of the Silva Method. This technique was first pioneered by Laura's father, Jose Silva. So, the Silva Method, right? I shared with you some of the books that had had a profound impact on me. I did not have my Silva book with me because I lent it to a friend, but that book is the #1 book that had an impact on my life. It was printed in 1977, called the Silva Mind Control Method. And today it just goes by the name Silva Method. The Mindvalley is the official publisher of all these Silva Method programs. And on the Mindvalley Academy, you can get all 4 official Silva Method programs: Silva Life System, Silva Manifesting, Silva Mind Body Healing, Silva Intuition System. What makes the Silva Method so unique is that it gives you a series of mind tools. It's really like a martial arts for the mind that you can apply in almost any situation. And the Chicago White Sox has used it to improve their batting average. Best-selling author Jonathan Livingston Seagull, in an interview with Harper's Bazaar magazine, said that through the Silva Method, after his Silva class, he was able to tap into his creativity and help come up with the closing chapter for his best-selling book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Famous opera singer Margarita Piazza has used it, and if you've heard my story, I've used it for so many things. It is probably one of the best educations I've ever had. Now, there are numerous techniques in the Silva Method, but the #1 technique is this, the Mirror of the Mind. Now, I'm going to explain to you how it works, and I'm going to put up a couple of diagrams on your screen so you get the hang of it, right? So, firstly, all of us will, at some point, go through certain situations in life that we want to shift. It may be lost love. It may be bankruptcy. It could be any of the situations that we spoke about in our previous session with Bert. Or it could also be simply a situation where nothing bad has happened. You just want something better to happen. Let's say you have a relationship with your child or your spouse or your business partner that's stagnant, and you want to add some life to this relationship. Let's say you're going through some pain and you want to get rid of this pain, physical pain. Let's say you're having a flu and you want to recover faster. Or you are competing for a sporting competition, but you aren't hitting that score that you want to hit, and you want to improve your performance. Well, this is what Jose Silva found has worked for millions upon millions of people. Seriously, millions, capital M, because Jose Silva trained about 6 to 12 million people. Nobody knows for sure because the Silva Method is all across the world. It has hundreds of trainers alive today. But Jose Silva himself tested out a lot of his techniques on millions of people.